Alrighty. Is GIMP professional software? This is the question I asked on r/GIMP a month ago, and the majority of responses to the poll I posted indicated that GIMP was indeed professional software. But is it really? Many of the affirmative comments on the post revolved around the fact that they were professionals who use GIMP in some part of their workflow, and thus any software that they use is professional software. Others argued that GIMP is not professional software because it does not have industry-standard tools. I want to consider both arguments, but first let me clarify some things. What do I mean by professional software? Professional software is just a tool that a businessman would use in a professional setting. What workflows am I most concerned with here? I am most concerned in GIMP's capabilities in 3 different workflows: photo editing from a photographer's perspective, graphic design from a graphic designer's perspective, and photo manipulation from an artist's perspective. These 3 workflows are the main concern in this video. I won't be addressing those outside of these professions for various reasons, not because they don't matter, they do matter, rather because they are outside of what I generally work with in my own experience, so I can't really speak to what those people need in their tools. Without further ado, the primary objection to GIMP being labeled as professional software is that it lacks industry standard tools. There has been a lot of contention in the community regarding this, so I decided to look into whether or not these claims are indeed true and whether they even matter. Here's what I found. GIMP is lagging behind the industry standards for photo manipulation. Its selection tools are mid-2000s technology, and it still doesn't have non-destructive editing, a set of features that has been around since the late 90s. GIMP still does not have the ability to work in CMYK, which makes it difficult to use when printing physical prints. GIMP's photo editing abilities are also limited by, again, the lack of non-destructive editing features and its inability to open RAW files without a plugin installed such as Raw Therapy or Darktable, which in and of themselves are independent pieces of software that do excellent jobs at what they do. GIMP does not have the ability to edit applied filters. Yes, there are workarounds for that, but we need that feature eventually. And finally, GIMP's text tool is mediocre. It lacks tools and clarity that graphic designers expect. Basically, the text tool is a big ball of confusion, and it doesn't really have some of the features that a lot of people would like to see in a text tool in a dedicated raster image editor that wants to be considered professional. What we can conclude is that GIMP is far from having industry standard tools. In that regard, GIMP cannot be considered professional grade software. However, as one Reddit user pointed out on the post I made, it isn't very fair to compare GIMP to a program like Photoshop, which has managed to outclass every single other piece of commercial software on the market. That's just incredible. But if you compare GIMP's development to the development of other software in the market, so taking into account where other programs were at different times, the latest version of GIMP sits between the 1990s and late 2000s, depending on what tools and features you are looking at. Yes, there are plenty of workarounds and different workflows to compensate for this, but we really shouldn't need them in 2021. We shouldn't have to have these workarounds in the first place. The software should just function. Can we achieve high quality results in GIMP? Can we achieve professional results in GIMP? Yes, we can and do all the time. Just because our software is outdated does not mean that it is useless, that nobody can use it, that people don't use it, that it cannot be used in professional settings. But what I'm saying is that we are behind about 10 to 25 years behind what the professionals in the photo manipulation and the photo editing in the graphic design industry consider to be standard and necessary. You see, GIMP is kind of in this strange place where it cannot be considered professional grade software, but its users are consistently producing some amazing, high quality, very high polished art. In the end, GIMP really can't compete in the commercial world on the same level as other players such as Photoshop, Canva, Affinity Photo Suite, etc., etc., etc. It's sad to say, but this is where GIMP is at, as far as I can tell. Hopefully, as development continues, this will change and GIMP will become a great piece of software that can compete with some of the bigger players in the game, but it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of features need to be pushed through and it needs to be kept stable. That's all I have to say.